What's going on, Workforce? Brian here, and today I really want to sit down and really kind of focus on one subject topic. What is Xbox Infinity? Essentially, what is Xbox Project Scarlet? At E3 2018, Phil Spencer got up on stage and announced new consoles were in development. And the question is that did he misspeak or not? And apparently, confirmation today is that no, it's in fact multiple consoles. One of the things that I've theorized about and on stream and then even privately with Chris is that I've long believed that Xbox is working on two consoles, one a cloud streaming console and one I guess a gamer-focused Xbox One X style home console. Something that it's that for the hardcore gamer, the 4K or 8K, 60, 100 million frames a second, blah, 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 teraflop bytes, all of that, I guess, fun conversation depending on if that's something you're passionate about. And obviously, then what is a consumer-friendly, budget-friendly, product that as well can also play those kind of games? Imagine being able to say that, let's say the Scarlet in and of itself was 32 gigs of RAM, just something just insane for the console itself, and then all of a sudden, like how do you fit that in to somebody who has that budget? How do you come out with a pretty much like probably another $500 machine and then try to sell that to the mass market, as well as also compete with PlayStation 5 and what the Nintendo Switch is doing with its portability mode? And obviously the answer is, kind of tying in exactly what Phil Spencer said about the cloud. So they're also making that huge investment into cloud gaming. And at first it seemed weird because obviously the strength of what Xbox has added this generation has been the backwards compatibility, being that you can directly install that on the system itself. Then, you had EA announce that they're working into a cloud streaming platform. Microsoft's working on that. Sony has already done this. Sony has been well ahead of the curve with PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Now. But the main arguments end up being that literally, lag, latency between obviously the game and where it's running and the hardware that it runs on, and obviously the device. And that's where I think Microsoft's strategy makes interesting sense, is literally that imagine, and this, making up prices here, that if they came out with a $99 or $199 streaming device in which that it can run all of the new Xbox games, as well as all of the Xbox One games and et cetera, to your TV, with sacrificing the fact that you need a good internet connection, that you need, you will be sacrificing obviously latency, but also then gaining access to the fact that this device in and of itself would continue to evolve, that it could be the one device, the one console future. Because when I say Infinity, and the reason why I think, if that's going to be the name that they choose, is because when you think of the cloud, the servers can always get better, and they can always just continue to improve upon those. They are not limited by having to then release another piece of hardware ever again. They can always say, hey, you've got the Xbox Infinity, you're set. I think the requirement is that to use the device, you're going to have to be a part of their subscription platform, Game Pass, Gold. I could see them probably kind of blending that at some point, or some kind of thing, because at some point when you're offering all these different services, it can be a little bit weird because, oh, you've got Game Pass, but then you need Gold to play online. Anyway, that's another topic for another day. But that's where I could see it. I could see it at $99 or $199, coming in at a really just rock solid price at the sacrifice that you're not actually having a device that's really rendering all of the gameplay locally. Who knows if there's going to be, if it's somewhat doing a piece of that to kind of help offset any kind of latency. But then you have obviously the Xbox One X version, the Scarlet, the Infinity home console that is the 4K, like I said, just really powerhouse device that is not going to be consumer priced friendly, that's going to launch obviously at a higher price point. Now, I think that makes sense because I think when you look at it, it gives gamers options. It gives a lot of people options. What's one of the road barriers when a new console launches? The price, and obviously the availability of that. I think what we could see here though, and this is where I think it will be very interesting, the future of gaming could be hugely interesting. PlayStation Now, Xbox Game Pass, if that's what they use as part of their streaming service. Imagine that being on the Switch. They talk about it mobile. They talk about billions of gamers. At least Phil Spencer keeps talking about there's a billion gamers on the planet, and the console market's only really reaching 100 million, 120, 150 million of that, which is a small fraction of the available gamers out there according to these numbers. Imagine then they don't have to, both Sony and even Microsoft don't have to release a handheld version of their console, the X-Boy or the PlayStation Vita 2. They can just say, hey, let's go ahead and just like Nintendo, you got the space, tap into our streaming services, thus PlayStation Now and Xbox Game Pass, Infinity streaming, whatever they call it. And I think that's something that could be about the future. When we talk about a one console future, maybe it's more that it's not necessarily a console, but it's just we go to this agnostic viewpoint of consoles, in which that it doesn't matter that where you play, who you play with, as long as you play the games that you're most interested in. I don't see it working the other way. Who knows? Nintendo could come up with their own cloud platforming streaming service and then offer that on other places as well. But honestly, I think they're going to really kind of keep their IP down on lockdown. Anyway, guys, this is just some thoughts that I had, and I really want to share in its own video because I continue to talk about it. And with the news today over on IGN, and multiple people are reporting on Scarlet being a cloud device and an actual physical device, it just makes sense. I want to share my thoughts on where I see the industry going, and I hadn't had a chance to do that until right now. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I mean, I think probably the number one comment is literally going to be no thank you because of latency, and I get that. But I think that's just a limitation of technology now. I don't think that's always going to be a limitation. I think it's going to be interesting to see where the future goes, and if that's something they can solve. I think it's solvable, but I think obviously there's a lot of hurdles that have to get completed between then and now. So outside of that comment, I'd love to know your thoughts, what you're thinking about Scarlet, aka Xbox Infinity, where you want the next console generation to go. All right, what do you think about PlayStation 5? What are you thinking about a new Nintendo Switch here in a couple of years? It's going to be interesting to see. But anyway, that's it. I just want to share. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.